Authenticity. I get asked all the time, Jason, tell us about authenticity. Usually there's an authenticity speaker making trouble for saying this, but they're always talking about authenticity, which we know is important. And so I love to ask them, how do you define authenticity? And they love to say, you know, Jason, it's being authentic. No, you can't use the same word. So we did a big study to figure this out. Write this down. Authenticity means vulnerability. Being willing to be vulnerable. Y'all can tell when I'm being vulnerable, yes? I mean, we're human beings. We can tell if somebody's being vulnerable or trying to be salesy. Vulnerability actually is what creates connection. If you're vulnerable with people, they're more likely to be vulnerable with you. Gen Z and baby boomers, what we see they want right now as they look at opportunities like this, stability. Remember, I shared last year, Gen Z is what we call a throwback generation. In many ways, they're like baby boomers, which is why we're so excited. Most of the training and messaging in this industry is what we call linear training. Y'all saw it today. Here's the 5 things. Everybody saw that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember that? We talked about drive. We talked about all these things, trust, all the stuff, legacy. That's good. It works for a lot of people. What our research shows is younger generations are not linear thinkers. So when you show them, here's the 5 steps, they check out at step 3. And then they're already looking at their phone, and you're thinking that they're being disrespectful. Truth is, they can't follow along with you. So what do? You want to make sure and message or train in reverse. Show the end first. It's like a video game. Gen Z, they want to play a video game, they get the cheats, they skip to the end, they beat the game. They got every superpower. You say, you didn't win, you cheated. And they're like, high score, holla! But what nobody talks about amidst all the criticism is they then go back and play the game from the beginning. They just want to see the end first. Show them the end. One of the best things we can do in connecting with millennials is to say, that's a great question. Because we find out that they have low confidence about asking questions, particularly when they feel put on the spot. We go a step further, we will even give them questions to ask. Do any of these questions resonate with you? Any of them on your mind? And they'll pick one, and I'll say, that's a great question. Because it is, I gave it to them. Here's what I want you to write down. If they're not asking questions, you are not in conversation. You're in presentation. Gen X loves scenario planning. If this happens, what about this? If this happens, what about this? They love to know that you've thought through it and you're just not making it up. They have 3 backup mics for me here. 3! Because they have a Gen X crew. They even gave me an extra clicker. They are so on top of it. Now I'm telling you this because that comforts them. So what I want you to notice is you've got to be ready to have scenarios. Boomers like to see you working hard. What does working hard mean? Actually working. And look, boomers get to work early. Save their unassigned assigned parking spot. You on a Zoom with the boomer, I guarantee you it's like 7 in the morning. And the camera's facing up their nose.
Yeah.
Can you see me? Oh, definitely. Great angle. Well, I can't figure out which camera it is. How many do you have? 1. Last, my personal favorite. How would you like to stay in touch? Don't assume. I meet many boomers that text more than I do. I can't just assume they carry a stamp. Now Now, I've been doing a lot of media lately. Travis knows this. He loves to give me a hard time about it. This is one of my favorite recently. I was on CBS News talking about Gen Z quitting their jobs, filming it on TikTok, and then posting it. So I talk about this a lot. It's fascinating because you ask Gen Z who do this, like, well, do you think it's going to affect your future jobs? And they're like, no. How are people going to find out? I don't know. I got no idea. Nothing. Mindset to me is the most important takeaway from today, and I'm going to share with you how we think about it as behavioral researchers. When you think about partners, when you think about the people that you want to engage and inspire, and I'm going to push you on this. If you're not growing, if you are not out there helping and inspiring more people, you're moving backwards in this world. I'm going to share with you what it takes, because we study it. You can take a picture of this. I intentionally made it so you couldn't fill it out without me telling you the answers. Here's what we see people need right now. Number one, they want to feel, write this down, they want to feel valued. How people feel valued is different. You're the one who has to figure out what does that mean. So I'll give you an example. Most of y'all don't know this. Travis knows this. Jason LaChance knows this. I'm very loud. Y'all figured that out, right? I am super introverted. The most uncomfortable thing for me is to walk through the halls when people come up to me. It is very uncomfortable for me. But my friends joke that I have the best job in the world because I get to talk to 1,400 people at a time who are at least 10 feet away from me. I'm very introverted, but people don't know that. They assume that I want to go jump up and hug and all this stuff. You and me have a cup of coffee together, we'll talk for 4 hours. So when we think about feeling valued, if somebody were to write on social media, it means more to me because I can receive it then than if they come up after me and they want to give me a high five and take a picture, which freaks me out. Does that make sense to everybody? But we have to be aware in order to pick up on that. Second thing we see is that people want to feel challenged. And I'm going to be candid. This can be challenging, yes? But it can be what else?
Rewarding.
Fun, rewarding, inspiring. Yes, it can be overwhelming too, 100%. I hear you right there on the front row. I like reality. Challenges are not bad. We wouldn't get stronger if we didn't face challenges. How many of you in this room have been rejected? Raise your hand. How many of you in this room have heard that this business does not work? Raise your hand. How many of you have heard in the last week somebody making fun of this industry or business? Raise your hand. How many of you showed up anyways? So the question to me is, how do we get other people to see the same opportunity you do? Challenge isn't bad, but if we don't present it as a challenge, people think it's easy and it's not easy. But wow, is it massively rewarding. Number 3, people want to feel valued, they want to feel challenged. Number 3, they want to feel included. Included means they're a part of the conversation, not just being talked about. One of the things I'm sensitive to is so often conversations like this are only people that are at a certain level. When they told me that all of y'all are going to be in here and you have to qualify and all these different things, but we're going to reach so many more people, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Now, can everybody hear this message? No. But can everybody in this room hear this message and receive it? Absolutely. People know when they're included. Am I right? And how many of you know what it feels like to be excluded? I finally got a date for prom, 11th grade. I was very excited. She was like a foot taller than me. I was so excited. I bought a corsage, a whole deal. It was amazing. Evening started off great. She ended up leaving with a different guy. So I went over to the little like McDonald's type place and had dinner by myself. When I go to places and there's somebody that's by themselves at an event, what's the first thing I do? I walk right over and I talk to them. Every single time. Because I know what it feels like to be that person. What else do we see people need? They need a sense of purpose. What I'm going to challenge us on is their sense of purpose may not be ours. But if you don't have that purpose, it's hard to have resilience. And the last thing I think is the biggest opportunity here, and that is people want to see progress. This is a business where progress can sometimes feel like it's not happening. And when somebody new gets excited about it and they don't feel like they're moving forward, they will stop being engaged. You can see that they're making progress, but they can't. How many of you have had this experience? Raise your hand. One of the most important things you can do is highlight that they are making progress. That's how we build confidence and resilience, which eventually leads to momentum. But if you can't feel and see that you're moving forward, you think you're spinning your wheels, and then you say this is a waste of time, and then you say, oh, you didn't tell us the truth. We've got to keep people engaged by showing them that progress. And that's why I show you pizza. Can everybody see the pizza? Yeah. You know, I'm a behavioral researcher. What I care deeply about is not what people do. What I care deeply about is why they do something, or more often, why not? Why don't they do that? So I'm going to ask y'all a question. This is one of our clients. We do studies for all these brands around the world. It's a blast. This client came to us and they said, Jason, we think we know who our customer is, but we're not totally sure. Can you try to figure out who they are, see the underlying behaviors? On it. So here's my question for all of you. It's going to be really good here. Who is the number one buyer of frozen pizza in America? That's what we had to figure out. Who's the number one buyer of frozen pizza? Is it a, we'll keep it simple, guy or a girl? Man or woman? Everybody with me? You get one vote. Hold on. We're going to do a vote and you have to raise your hand. If you think the number one buyer of frozen pizza is a man, because I heard people yell that out. Raise your hand, hold them up high. Look around the room, everybody. Look around the room, look around the room, look around the room. Look around the room. Wow, keep those hands up. Excellent, thank you. If you think it's a woman, raise your hand. Woo, that's pretty good. So we did this big study to figure it out, and we found out the number one buyer of frozen pizza is a woman. Hold on. Ages 35 to 45, who exercises on average 1 time a week, and most importantly, she has at least 1 child. We found out the millennial males would not buy the frozen pizza, and I quote, because we'd have to cook it. It's work, you know, like making cereal. But here's the thing. Just because we figured that out doesn't mean we figured out why. So we had to dig in to figure out why. Somebody guess out loud, say it, why you think that particular persona is buying the pizza. Come on, somebody say it. There you go. All right, you got it. Quick, easy, semi-nutritious, and somewhat indulgent. That's actually what drove it. So that means if I want to engage them, what do I want to speak to? The underlying behaviors. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see. We've got to keep asking underneath the actions to figure out the real drivers. So these are the 5 things I want you to think about. Write these down. I made this one easier for you because I want you to be aware of them. This is what drives team performance right now. Number 1, autopilot. How many of you in this room, we're all friends, how many of you in this room have gotten in your car to go to the grocery store and ended up at the post office? That's what, who said today? That's funny. What I want you to notice is, autopilot, we're just in that routine. If we don't break out of that, we get stuck. Second is outlook. All of you today got to try something really new, really exciting. I got to try it too, by the way. Last week.
All right.
But when you heard about it, every one of you in this room made a decision right then and there. Is this a big opportunity or not? You made that decision. Here's what I want you to notice. It is more important for you to prove yourself right than it is to grow in this business. You choose. But whatever it is you put in the world as that outlook, That's what you're going to make happen. Truths, those are things you believe are unwavering. I'll give you an example. Let's see if I have something here. Oh, I'll use this water bottle. Can everybody see this water bottle? I'm going to need you to be creative because otherwise I have to get off the stage. Everybody see this?
Yes.
I need you to pretend, like really imagine with me, that this was a picture of a water bottle. And I want you to pretend that you came to visit me in Austin, Texas, where I live. I have an office there. And let's pretend you came to my office. And I said, would you like some water? Would you like coffee? Can I get you something? And you tell me, and I leave. And there's this picture right there. And that picture looked like this. Whoop. What would most of you in this room do when I stepped out of the room? You straighten it. Which means what? You put it back like this. Yes? Because that looks right to who? To you. What if I like to sit at my desk and look at it? But we walk around the world all day long finding things that look like this and trying to put them back like this. And I just want us to be aware, sometimes they're better sideways. Norms. When we think about norms, these are things that we just say, nah, that's normal. That's not unusual. When you showed up to the hotel, how many of you saw a line to check in? Raise your hand. How many of you thought, that's normal when a big group goes to the hotel? Raise your hand. How do I feel when I walk into a hotel and there's a line to check in? I think that is not normal. Who are these people? Right now, if I was to check into a hotel, would I want to go up to the front desk and talk to a human? No. Where do I want my key to be? On my phone. I don't want to touch somebody else's key. That's weird. That's like touching cash. It's dirty. We bring those norms. And the last, we talked a little bit about earlier, I want you to sort of elevate your awareness of your energy. I find in my life, there are two kinds of people. There are people that give us energy, and there are people that take energy. Am I right? What I sometimes have to remind myself in the mirror about is, which one am I being today? And it's a choice. And on my team, I want to be the one that gives energy. Yes? So I'm going to push us to just be aware. And that's why I want to share this last piece. I want y'all to know what gave me energy last time. This is one of your posts, right here. Such an amazing speaker. He had us cracking up and showcasing unique benefits of every generation we can bring so well. Why did this one give me energy? Because it was on Instagram. Guess who's on Instagram? My daughter. Guess who's 13? My daughter. Guess who no longer thinks I'm cool? My daughter. But this, look, they got, like, this is so exciting. She's like, Dad, they're all awake. What is so inspiring about every one of you in here is that you bring goodness to the world. You do that. You want people to be successful, you want them to feel better, you want them to have a more robust life. What I want you to notice is that you do that for me and Raya and Denise. And so often y'all don't get to hear that. So on behalf of my family, I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do, for who you are, and I'm so excited to see where we go from here. Thank you.